What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Golden Dice Podcast, episode number 10. We got the Cunning live stream to discuss. We've got a lot of spoilers. We have the most consecutive of the same aspect spoilers at the end. We got 10 yellow spoilers in a row. And then in the beginning, we're just going to talk about kind of some of our impressions a little bit of the game now that we've played more. Just like in terms of specific cards. We've all said we like how the style plays, things like that, the back and forth, etc. But kind of trying to break down some of the decks we've been playing, give some feedback on them, is we've kind of tried pretty much everybody except Chewy.
I mean,
all of us
have
tried. Someone has tried in our group, every leader except Chewy.
Locke hasn't tried anybody except for IG and Boba.
Technically, actually, there's actually a lot I haven't tried. I'm not gonna lie.
And Tarkin.
He did a few games of Tarkin, yeah. Well, yeah, we haven't really tried Grand Inquisitor either. You tried him that one time, Brian, but that was the starter deck that you just swapped out Vader for.
Yeah, I was very anti-building decks for a while, and I just swapped every character over the starter deck, the two-player deck, and
yeah,
you could tell a big dip in quality upwards.
Yeah. the big dip in quality upwards.
Big dip.
Dip.
It's big dip, dude.
Spike.
Big dip. So big is the better word, yeah.
But yeah, so we'll talk about that in a second. But we'll just a little intro question. What have you guys been up to? Brian, what's your last week been like? Or last 2 weeks, I guess, since we podcasted.
Same as always, man. Just working. I'm getting back into One Piece. I took a little break for a while. So it got questionable.
One Piece is real.
One Piece is real. Other than that, not much.
Cool. Tyler?
Who?
Flockton?
So soccer's done now. Frisbee's gonna be done Saturday. So I will now finally have like days during the week to actually like do more stuff. So I'm excited for. WoW expansion just came out. Not expansion, but the next patch. Gotta start grinding for that. Yeah. Nothing really. Other than the normal.
Yeah, that WoW patch lined up perfectly with our Mixto, our co-ed
Dude,
season.
it ended. Yeah. I haven't played this week that much. I literally logged on today, and then now we're podcasting. But starting Tuesday, I should be able to play consistently.
Word. Yeah, I haven't been this excited about WoW in a while. And I was excited for Dragonflight, but BlizzCon very much impressed me with WoW and like Classic. I don't care about like Classic Cataclysm, but like Classic.
Classic Plus, yeah.
Excited for that. Yeah, Season of Discovery.
That sounds like it's right up our alley.
Can't wait to play
level 25, baby. We're in.
Dude, I freaking love it. Brian is we need builds or whatever leveling strategy. Brian's where it's at, because that dude gets to 25 and starts a new character.
Who this could be totally different though. We'll see.
And Flockton gets to 6 and then dies.
True.
Multiple times.
So yeah, I've been similar to you guys. Soccer ended. Been playing WoW this week, trying to get some gear before the new raid season starts. We played SWU like 2 times last week. I am starting to creep back into the territory that I ended with Destiny, where I'm constantly thinking about what are my 50 cards, what do I want to add when I played the last games, what cards were good. So a lot of my daily thought has started to revolve around Unlimited, and I've spent a lot of time on SWUDB thinking about these decks. And also, actually, Warcraft Rumble. I've been playing a lot of Warcraft Rumble, too.
Oh, yeah.
Same.
Not for me.
That's been it. Yeah, it's not Pokemon.
I know my limits.
If it was literally Pokemon skinned, but the same exact game, you'd be like, this is the greatest game of all time.
Whale.
I would. And that is why I'm not playing it, because I like Warcraft. Like, I like the IP. I think it's cool. It's neat. But I'm not as, like, invested in the lore as you guys are. Well, Flockton, I don't know if he's invested in the lore.
I don't know the lore at all. I just smash buttons when I play. That's all I do.
That sounds right. Yeah, no, Jack
face
is very
roll.
invested in the lore. But no, I know I'd like it. I just don't know if I'd like it enough. You know.
I mean, you don't have to care about any of the lore.
And then if I liked it enough, I'd probably spend money on it, which I can't afford. We have things coming up. You know what I mean?
Dude, seriously. I dropped 20 on that for the Warcraft Rumble, the one that gives you double the amount of gold, double the amount of lightning, whatever that is. I did that. I was like, all right, $20, but I'm not spending any more.
Because it's lifetime. It kind of feels like
it's lifetime. Yep.
Game.
Yeah, first
right now.
But
when I first thought about it, I was thinking it was just going to be like for the season. That's what it is. But then I was like, then I saw lifetime of the account. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. You got me.
All right. So yeah, I mean that's basically what we've been doing. The same thing we do every week. And I guess life update for me. We were about to announce it. Exciting thing is, wife and I are expecting number 2 come May.
Hey yo.
So this baby's gonna have to figure out store showdowns because these are the first store showdowns ever, right? So I gotta make some of them. So it's gonna be a girl, so she's got to figure out what she's doing. But yeah, so that's exciting stuff for me.
Congratulations.
Oh, thanks, dude. It's your guys' first time hearing it.
Oh, congratulations! Congratulations! Yo, that's so exciting. I'm so happy for you.
Sorry, I'm downloading Warcraft Rumble.
That's funny. But yeah, all right. So we'll hop on over to just talking about like our gameplay. We've been jamming a good amount. We've been getting a good mix in. Right in the beginning, we were playing a lot of Luke, a lot of Vader, a lot of Boba. But now we're starting to see us playing Sabine more, Tarkin more, Han more. Brian's been jamming some Krennic games. So I feel like we are starting to get a pretty good spread. We haven't really busted into some of the jankier stuff yet, the mono. We mostly do that on TTS. Well, yeah. How's that going for you?
I tried it twice.
Mm-hmm.
The first time, it wasn't awful. It was still bad.
Mm-hmm.
The second time was awful, and I just hated it the entire time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised by mono for when I played last.
So, yeah, reference for that, I did mono Boba. I did yellow with the new base, which is... I love that. 2 games with that. I don't know if I'll ever run the 30 health yellow base again. And then second game, I tried Mono Hera, which was like fine, but like there's just no green event. Like command is cool, but the fact I can't deal damage to a unique character makes that like if that could function. What's that?
Did you put OB in there?
No, yeah, that's probably worth it at 7 at this point at least because we don't have anything like that for green.
I think it's worth it regardless.
I mean, if there's a hero one, maybe like similar to that, a counterpart, if you could say. But yeah, for now, it definitely feels like, especially mono green, bro, you got no removal. Literally, like I think my events are command, resupply, and that terrible one that Flock loves, the +2/+2, tactical whatever,
tactical advantage or something.
Yeah, the pay 1. They get the +2/+2 for the round.
He likes that, but doesn't like experience tokens.
True.
What's that about?
Don't.
I just said they're not as hypeful as you think they are.
Hypeful. They're not
just waylay the unit, and you're fine. It's easy. You just gotta play yellow.
You only play yellow.
You just gotta play yellow, and you waylay it, and it goes away. It's easy. And eventually, we're just gonna be exhausted for 2 rounds. Like I'm not worried about it. Not worried about it.
That card is so I fell victim to that card a couple times when we played last, and I gotta tell you, that sucks.
You played it on me the first game, and I played it on you twice the second. His Vader came out, and I was like, no,
dude. That's what you just hold on to.
It's even impactful on. I did it too because I was out of option. I misplayed it incorrectly. I was supposed to do it on Boba, and I picked the wrong card, but I just didn't want to walk it back because whatever. I Asteroid Sanctuary Boba, and then I No Good to Me Dead this 7th Fleet Defender, which was fine because I had no space units, and he was doing a decent amount of damage throughout, so it's impactful enough. But then getting a put on Vader that's hard to come back.
Yes, I mean think about how most hero yellow decks play their entire hand around Vader by holding Asteroid or Leia, and now there's a card that does it twice.
Does it for you? Yeah.
It does it, for the same cost too. Although it's villain, so you'd have to pay 4 for hero. But I guess thinking Asteroid Sanctuary for villain, you would grip that for Vader. Now you can.
2, I think that's so busted at 2. I mean, we'll get into it later, but that's a.
I don't know. There's not any card that I really want to pay 2 more. Overwhelming Barrage is the exception, but that's. If there was any removal in Hero Green, I probably wouldn't.
Oh no, I meant playing it at 2 is.
Oh, that's great.
Stupid good. Stupid good. That's one of those things that are just you should put if you're playing yellow. That goes in.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, so let's try to even little structure of like recounting what you've played almost. If you could try to think of your last few games, and then you could even start out the general idea of like the deck that impressed you, and from there you can even dive into cards that impressed you, cards that you are upset that you included in the deck and you want to cut, and they were worse than you thought, stuff like that. So I don't know if either one of you want to kick that off.
Box list will be shorter.
Yeah, Flock only has 2 leaders or 3 leaders to pick from. So
yeah, Flock, why don't you go? I'm gonna look at my my lists over here.
So a few of the ones that impressed me, because like normally I'm just an aggro player. I like to play like Boba IG. Those are like something I'm looking at right now, or even Sabine. I played all 3 of them. I can kind of do them. They're not very hard. Outside of my like comfort zone would be like Tarkin or Luke, and I've played them in some of the IRL games, and I've been in Felt Table and stuff like that. And I kind of like the Tarkin Luke. Once I need to learn the sequencing and all that stuff, I'm not used to thinking. Like when I play games, I just want to like relax and play. But when you play like Tarkin or Luke, sometimes you actually need to think about your play, and then you have to know what they're gonna do, and you gotta like think steps ahead. Where like when you're playing Bob or Sabine or anything aggro, not that you don't care what the other person is doing, but you're trying to go so fast that you don't really care what they're gonna do in the future. You're kind of worried about the now, as they said in the stream. So that's kind of my play style. But yeah, so playing like Tarkin has been making me think like learning the cards more, learning sequencing, being very meticulous with what I'm doing. So I'm trying to practice with them more, mostly on Felt Table, so I don't like ruin our streams with my bad plays. But you got it too late. Yep, too late. You gotta just do it. Just jump into it. But yeah, so I'm kind of leaning towards Tarkin. I'm kind of liking Tarkin. I think he's gonna be like the next one I want to try to like play more.
Well, I was even gonna say because you led off like, and I agree that you like and lean towards aggro. I think Tarkin's just straight up an aggro deck. I don't think he's anything.
He is aggro, but like he's a different aggro. He's like because you got to think a little bit more. You know what I mean? Where like we think about Bob and IG, it's more so you don't really think. You put things down, and just smash face, and that's all you're doing. It's almost like a Zerg rush. That's all you're really worried about. Where Tarkin is kind of a Zerg rush, but like it's a more meticulous Zerg rush. You know, you're trying to like do stuff.
I even think Boba's more control though than he is even aggro too.
I just play him aggro. I just go in there and just smack face.
What's your win record?
We need to revisit this.
I've only lost like once. I've only lost maybe once, maybe twice with Boba. Maybe twice.
I think I fact check that, please. Inception.
Yeah.
Inception. Fact check that. Have you played Tarkin into any yellow deck yet? By the way.
I think I played Han. Yeah, it's the second
one.
You
guys did. Yeah, it was just.
I played the Han.
You played Brian. Yeah. You played Han.
Oh, then it wasn't. That wasn't an accurate representation. I'm just saying, if you play Tarkin into yellow, you need to think a ton. You need to be 2 steps ahead of your opponent.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
It feels so bad getting waylaid, getting asteroids, like the cards that mess with your deck, especially as Tarkin, right? That those experience tokens, and I know you're not high on them yet, but you will be.
I probably will be.
They need to be strategic and deliberate, and I think that like playing Tarkin, like you got to be careful. So
yeah, and a part of it is like, and most of us learn the hard way of not stack. Like in general, you don't want it. You'd rather go wide with your experience tokens than stack it all on one, and that kind of prevents it, right? Like if I have a TIE fighter and I have 2 experience on it, and you waylay it, it's like I'm not that upset because it ultimately was like an even exchange. And generally, like waylay, you won't even hit higher than what you pay for. So it's nice. I wouldn't like crazy overthink it. I would just like buff your units and hit face. And like one of the things I think we've also like learned a little bit too is like, and it's similar to One Piece, Brian, of like when it is your turn, attack like with what you have first, because a lot of times that could bite things out of people's hands, right? Make them play stuff. In One Piece, it was important because in that game, if you hit somebody's life, it was a card and it could have a trigger that could kill stuff. So like if you played something and then it died from the trigger. Yeah, like the counter stuff.
The counters, if you counter out, like there's an ability that you can just take units off the board.
Where this is similar too, right? Like if I'm like holding stuff back and then they're like, you know what, ultimately I could walk into like a big removal play of like overwhelming barrage. But if I attack with my 4/3 TIE fighter and then you waylay it, like feel like I'm coming out okay because I still got that 4 damage in or whatever.
Yeah, I
But
feel like Waylay is kind of like a Waylay's gotten a lot less impactful / feels bad as all these spoilers come out. Like
Yeah.
when we first started playing, Waylay was like the most annoying card, and now it's like, yeah, I know what it is, I know it's there, it's fine.
Yep.
Now I'm more concerned about No Good to Be Dead. Now I'm more concerned about like even Asteroid Sanctuary. I mean, Asteroid Sanctuary is a great card, but I'm not as scared of it as I was anymore, I think.
Depends what deck I'm playing. If I have Saboteurs, I'm like, yeah, sure. You're just exhausted. The shield means
never have
nothing.
I don't have that
Yeah.
luxury over on my side.
Dude, the first time you removed 2 shield tokens, like I did that to Flock for the first time with the 2-drop Saboteur to rip 2 shields off his Boba, his unit Boba, and I was just
Feel
like,
good.
that
Feels
was
real
probably the
good,
most
I'm
excited
sure.
I've ever been. Saboteur
Well,
is a keyword actually. I don't think it's ever really been relevant for us yet in regards to Sentinel. I think it's only been shields ever for us.
Yeah, I think that exact play, I'm pretty sure I had to whatchamacallit, what's the one that is it Waylay that gives you the shield? So I'm pretty sure I had to like actually like or Asher Sanctuary,
Bro.
whatever. Same thing. Whatever, they're both yellow.
I've been really
So
take my time learning Tarkin, learning the cards.
so I remember that play. So I had to actually like Asteroid Sanctuary to get a like for me to save whatever, and then I had to give them like I can only give it to the Boba, and then you're like, oh, let me remove it. I'm like, yeah, I wasn't thinking about that, but like as well, I remember going back and rewatching. I'm like, that's the only really play I had.
Yeah, I don't
to
think it was a
do.
bad play because you wanted to
it's only-
exhaust whatever I had.
Exactly. I forget what it was, but like I had to exhaust it, and then you just got rid of the shield. And I was like, dang, that sucks.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
I'm a big fan. Like as we're playing more and more, I'm like a big fan of the complexity of this game, right? And I think it's right at the right spot right now.
yep.
And I think set 1 is
It's gonna get more,
be
dude. These cards are getting
weird,
more
but,
and more wild, and I love it.
Yeah, and the more cards we get, the more like this game's gonna be nutty. So nutty.
So before we even, I guess, move on from Flock, so you mentioned some of the decks you want to get more into Tarkin. You want to try Luke a little bit more. What are, I guess, some of the cards like in those decks aside from the leaders that I don't know you were impressed with? Ones that you're like, oh, I can't wait till new cards come out so I can cut this or whatever. I don't know. Were there things that kind of stood out to you in those decks?
Well, the Tarkin one, not really, because it's pretty much all the similar ones that I've used. But for Tarkin's mostly just trying to min-max his action ability and using it correct ways and stuff, and remembering to actually pull him out on turn 5 or turn 4 with your Unit 5 resources.
Yeah.
But like what you want to do is to figure out is maximizing Tarkin's ability important. How important is it? You know, so ideally you want to use his action, then deploy him, attack with him, and then, give another token, give 2 that round. But like that's kind of slow when Tarkin's aggro, so it's like, do you have the time to do that? So I'm still learning on like, do I want to actually maximize his ability, or I got to pull him out to do this, or, so I'm still learning all that. So Tarkin, nothing's really impressed me. I just got to learn it more. But like through the Luke, I think a lot of the synergy with all the units that are in it, that I am impressed with, that I like I like the R2 C3PO that you have, where you get to like, and even Ezra, where you get all that looking at your top of the deck and figuring out. It's nice doing is it R2 into C3PO, so you know what it is, so so it's like I like that kind of synergy with that deck, and knowing it and all that stuff. And obviously when you have your 50 and your 50, the percentage of the cards that are more than likely. So even if you don't get that, you can say, okay, I know it's more than likely going to be a 2 or 3, so you can call that.
Yep.
So I'm excited for that kind of stuff. That's what I'm really excited for about these kind of decks, is the synergy with all the cards that work with each other.
Anything that you've hated so far in your, or not necessarily hate, not cards that were worse than you expected potentially, like especially from the ones that you have played.
Yeah, so I do know this. So it's not in the Tarkin or the Luke one, but the 2 that really have like I've been trying to get to work was like Admiral Ozzel and like Mahdi and stuff like that, or even First Legion Snowtrooper. Like because we're a short pool, we kind of have to use them. So in my red yellows, basically you have to have these cards to fill it out, or one of them at least. And the First Legion Stormtrooper is the one that gives you +2, +0 when attacking a damaged unit and gives them over, and you get overwhelmed. I think I've maybe used that like once and actually got out the overwhelm off, and I'm like, it's not really worth it for a 2/2/3, or 2 cost for a 2/3. In a lot of situations, I'd rather other stuff. And then like the Ozzel, I've tried him a few times. I think I used his ability once, and it backfired. It's definitely like a slow one, so I think I gotta take Ozzel out of all of my aggro decks. Like, it's just not gonna work. And then Mahdi's another late one. It's like, I don't really care about readying. He's a 2-drop 1/1. I don't care about readying my 1 or 2 cost unit. You want to ready like a big unit, so that's where you want to get him out. So those, I feel like I got to drop from, like, but I gotta wait for more cards to come out in the set because we're limited, so I kind of have to play them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Ozil hasn't impressed me in any deck, and I definitely wouldn't run him in Boba. But Mahdi's the one that he almost becomes kind of interesting in Boba, but it would only be while Boba leader's deployed, because like, does Boba, because the leader doesn't say the first time you tech, does it? I'm not actually sure.
No, it just says if they are. So if you can ready Boba and you can attack Boba, I'm sure you can probably can ready more resources. So that'd be great. That'd be absolutely great. But like, it's been tough to get to that situation.
It's also one of like the most telegraphed plays you can do.
Yes, so, true. As long as you have, and you're like, okay, well, I gotta make sure I gotta stop that.
Yeah.
So then you're hoping they don't have anything to stop it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the best synergy of it is with Vader, because he can ping it himself. Right now, you're also like in those decks, you're gonna have to find a way to do it yourself, essentially.
I mean, it would be nice to, like, even if you could reset the Boba's fire spray, like, comes in ready to attack with it, then you can ready it again. So I mean, that'd even be good too.
Yeah. Outside of the Vader and like maybe Boba, but Boba's so tight in the sense that so far he's felt really good at only 30 units in like 20 events for me. So it's like, of the 10 different units that I'm playing, essentially, is Mahdi going to be one of them? And so far it's felt kind of rough. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Ozil, I don't think I've considered him in anything, and I think you only even have him in your mono IG deck because you had to.
Yeah, right now he's only in my mono IG deck because I have to. Like, that's literally all. And I'm just like, I tried him. I think I tried him IG and maybe even Boba in the beginning and took him out. Like, it just felt like I was just resourcing him. Like, I don't see myself playing this card within this round or next. So I'm like, I'm just gonna resource it.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. All right, off to little Bry guy. Same thing. Like, you could talk about like leaders you have been playing, leaders that and decks that you did like playing, cards in them that made you enjoy them more, and then some cards that you thought were going to have big impact and they haven't just yet, or you don't think they ever will.
Well, that's hard to say, but I think I've played about everybody. I think like the only one I haven't really tried to make work, because he's just not going to work, is the Grand Inquisitor. I think he just needs more help, and I don't think he's going to be in a spot right now to do anything of use at all. But I think the two that I've played the most in my like little wheelhouse here is probably Vader. I've played him in every color at this point, and Krennic, I've tried him in most. I think I haven't tried him in yellow. I've definitely played him in red and green. Maybe I've played him in blue. I don't think I have, though. But Vader, in particular, I was surprised by the inclusion of blue, because blue is the color that I was like the most hard on, and I think that like as more things come out, I've started to look at them differently. I'm pulling up my blue list right now, actually, just because I want to take a look and see. So I have 27 units, 9 space, 8 events, and then 6 upgrades. And upgrades I'm coming around on as well, actually, because I think I took a big steamy dump on upgrades in particular, but I think Fallen Lightsaber.
What are you? Say, is it Fallen and Resilient for you?
Fallen, Resilient, Vaders are the 6 that I have in there, and I think I like Fallen a ton.
Yeah.
Fallen on anything it's a 3/3.
Yep.
Right, regardless of what the ability you're able to get off on, it's that's impactful. Resilient's another one that I think is impressive, because Resilient and Fallen, if you put them on like even a one drop like the Stormtrooper, that's huge.
Yeah, you did
You
that
can
to me
you
one
can do
game.
some
I was like, I
you can
got to
do
do
some
4
very
to this thing, man. Like, come on.
yeah. You put a fallen on Death Star Snowtrooper. You drop a Snowtrooper Lieutenant. You're doing 8 damage with a one drop. I mean, it's nutty. But another card that I in blue was surprised at was Death Trooper. Because I didn't think like the negatives would outweigh the positives, but I think that's an easy removal. Like you drop that turn 2 on anything, you're clearing out the board. You take initiative fast enough, you're clearing out the board. That also triggers puts Vader's ability online. So I'm looking at anything that is a black card, and in this deck I have 5 cards that do not trigger Vader's ability total. So
Is that 15? Like, is it 5 unique cards or literally 5
it
cards?
is resilient, 2 resilient, and 3 open fire. Everything
Okay.
else is ability.
Okay, it's only 5.
But I think that we remember talking about this earlier. But I think blue is probably the best for Vader right now, just because it makes him a little more survivable, a little bit more of a beef stick. But I wrote an article on this
It's
that
dropping
you'll see
tomorrow.
eventually.
If you're curious
Tomorrow.
about this, or you're listening to this after Friday, you can check our socials. Brian's Blue Vader article will be up.
Yep. So I was big on Death Trooper, the Academy Defense Walker, which I haven't really done too much about that yet. I don't think I've gotten the opportunity to play that too much, but Dooku I've played a ton, and Dooku is a closer. Dooku is not a he's a closer, man. Like he'll get you right. Shielded, defeats a unit with 4 or less. Wild and wacky stuff. I would talk more about Krennic, but I don't think he's quite there yet either. He's not bad, but I'm also starting to fall behind on green too. My opinion of green is starting to trend downwards. And that's what I'm going to transition into the cards that I think have disappointed me the most. Definitely like the big bombs that look amazing, and like you want to drop the Devastator, you want to drop a Relentless, you want to drop that Blizzard AT-AT. They're just not. I feel like they're just not worth it, right? Also, on that same vein, ATSD, the 6-drop, I don't think is particularly all that worth it either in my experience. And it's deceptive. The ATST looks deceptive because it's affordable, like it's got good stats, but ultimately there are just better things you can play. And I think that again, more the set that comes out and that gets spoiled, we're going to be looking at better stuff to slot in there. We have options now. It's not like we're just running the same package every time, which is nice. And then other than that, I mean I think that's pretty much it. And as always, the top dog, the only thing I like in green now, besides the Aegis Super Laser, is Overwhelming Barrage, which I talked about a little earlier. That card is an auto included like almost anything, even outside of its aspect. I like paying the penalty there. Fine, I'll do it. I'm not mad about it. That is also another closer. So that's pretty much where I'm at. I think that the worst deck right now is Grand Inquisitor. Far and away.
Yeah.
Even Chewie is passable right now. Kinda.
Barely.
Sort of. But, like, way better than Grand Inquisitor,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Grand Inquisitor's F, and then I think, like, Chewie,
B.
Hera, and
Oh.
IG are, like, D or C or something. Or if you want
Hera's
to say
gonna-
Grand Inquisitor.
I say IGC, Hera, and
Hera's
Chewie are
definitely going to
D.
get better, though. The way they talked about her,
Oh yeah, Hera will get better.
Issue with her is, like, the entire balance of her is around those cards type thing. So it's how good are the Spectre cards? If they're good, she's good. If they're broken, she's broken. If they're terrible, she's terrible.
I mean, they got multiple sets though. I mean, like this is gonna be the first set, so yeah, Hera might not be great this set coming out, but like 2, 3, 4, 5 sets from now, like I think there'll be plenty of Spectre cards for her.
like in a vacuum though, Kanan's amazing. Ezra's great. Sabine's great. Sabine Leader's not my cup of tea.
But
not bad, but not my cup of tea.
The thing with Hera though is that like it lets you make a good deck potentially, but she has no impact during the game. And like think about Tarkin, think about Vader, think about Luke, like, and not only are they having impact during the game, they're coming out and they're just crazy units. And yeah, Hera comes out at 6, is a 4/6, and gives an experience token to a unique unit.
Does nothing.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
like,
even if they come out with more like I don't know, this is the set for the Spectres. So it's like you're gonna get a bulk of them here, whereas, next set what's Shadows third set is Twilight or something. Twilight Republic. I already forget the names because I'm too focused on.
It is Shadows of the Galaxy and
Shadows.
Twilight of the Republic.
Yeah, I'm too focused on the first set. But like thinking of those and like this set right now, like how many out of era that they're focusing on are we getting? Right? It's probably like Dooku and Mace or like some of the like. I don't know. I wouldn't expect too many Spectres like after this, but you could get Ghost and it could be insane. You get Chopper be insane. You get Zeb be insane. But also, her power solely relies on how good the out of aspect cards are. Because I think her deck is just gonna be mono green with.
She's very vanilla.
Spectre. Yeah,
Very
so
vanilla.
she's a little tough.
Yeah. I just realized, like, yeah, her on attack is given experience token, another unique. What if you don't have another unique at the that's
I mean, you build around it. The Spectres are gonna be.
you build around it, but then if you have a whole bunch of uniques in your deck, you're limited to like how many cards you can have on the board. You don't want your entire deck to be all uniques.
I don't know about that just yet. I mean, maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does make deck building. I mean, currently with me, I think a majority of mine are. Like, even if you do mono green, like looking at mine, I have R2, I have 3PO, Sabine, Akbar, Ezra, Dodonna, Kanan, Bright Hope, and Home 1. And then I have 4 non-uniques with Rebel, Pathfinder, Fleet Lieutenant, Alliance X-Wing, and Wing Leader. So,
Like Vader, you just build around it. You want to.
but the thing is too though, like if Vader's behind, and you drop Vader and they don't have like an answer that turn, there's a very good chance you could catch up. If I'm behind and I drop Hera and I have no board,
I'm not afraid. I let it happen too when I played you.
Who cares?
I was like, I'm not even gonna answer that. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, you want your leader when they're deployed to possibly turn the tides. You know what I mean? Like with Hera, it's not guaranteed to turn the tides if you no board state.
Yep. But like I said, if Spectres are so insane, especially the events that you can run stuff, then it won't matter because you'll be ahead because you're playing all these insane cards that shouldn't be in your deck.
Yeah.
What were we? Oh, we were tier listing Brian's ranking on Grand Inquisitor. That was bottom one.
Oh yeah. And then one last thing before we move on. Also, Palpatine. What do you guys think about Palpatine? I'm like torn on him. I don't know. You probably never played him.
Nope. I know he's a card. Because I don't think I ever played against him. I don't think I ever played against him.
And that's the problem.
I was making a joke. Like I've never played against him. He's never dropped on the board. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. That's fair. And I think that's one of those other things that are deceptive. But that's the only thing where his on play. I played tonight and I wiped Jack's entire board.
He killed 4 things with it. Yeah.
You know. So I mean, and then what did you change Hearted?
I changed a hard Palp and then you played Palp and killed
my
Palp.
Palpatine.
Yeah.
Oh snap! That's a good play.
Yeah. And so then then he went into Jack's discard. Like it gets messy and weird, but.
I think I like him. Just weird at times. I think to kind of play like he's fighting for like aggression isn't going that late currently unless they're kind of with like green. It kind of feels like, and then green you're playing like Relentless or the other 10 drop we'll see in a moment. I mean, I don't think you cut him, especially like your Vader deck. Brian, like now that you're blue, like he's probably worth a slot in at 8 as a closer, but like then also you have Dooku at 7, so like you could stop at 7 because Vader comes out then, and then you have Dooku, so he's in a weird spot. But I mean, paying 8 for a 6/6 with Overwhelm that does 6 on play, like I think that's pretty good. It'll stink if you play against a shield deck. Is the same like that? Like shield decks will hard counter Palpatine.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Saboteur on the villain side.
Saboteur.
I wouldn't hold your breath at this point, man. We've got a lot. I know. They haven't gotten a single.
No. No. Well, they have the one infiltrator skill. That's not. It's neutral.
That's neutral. Yeah, red.
But, like I'm not gonna. Well, I don't think that makes the 50.
Yeah, I mean that's like probably a sideboard card at most. If you're worried about playing like a bunch of loops.
Stuff down so bad too. Like I just it's all about survivability.
Yeah.
But anyway. What about you, Jack?
Man, I've been playing a lot. I think I've pretty much played every deck that we have built. I've played everything at least once.
Did you play IG?
Yes.
I don't think you played IG.
I think I played him. Maybe like the first week we built him or something. I think I gave him a whirl. And then I said, I'm not touching this again.
You gave up so soon.
Well, so far I'm
You
right
should
on
have
that.
too.
That was...
You should have too.
I've really enjoyed Tarkin a lot. I've been playing a lot of him. I've gone back to Luke as well and revisited him. Really enjoyed him. I made the swap from Han Green, right? Originally, that's what I was pushing. I made the swap to Han Red. Like that. I played Sabine, but I'm not like huge on that aggro, and I built it in a way that it stops at 4 or 5 resources, and like if you just get stalled out, you could potentially lose, right? And stuff like that makes me nervous. So I kind of lean away from the aggro decks in general, unless it's like completely busted. But if I had to pick my favorite decks, probably Luke. And I mostly have enjoyed everything. I don't think there's a deck I played where I'm like, I hate this. Aside from Hera, I wouldn't even say I hate. It feels like I'm not playing with a leader half the time, which I don't enjoy. Good cards, man. What are some of the good cards that have really impressed me lately? I just want to just like scroll through all the spoilers and be like, what about this? What about this?
Akbar surprised me on the hero side.
I'll say Akbar is a very good one. He's definitely up there for me. We haven't really had a chance to play with like a lot of the new cards, especially the ones in like the last few weeks. Like with like Sagi Tagi and Shore Trooper are probably like the last two added that we played with a lot. We had the A-Wings in our decks, but I don't think I ever I didn't happen to get them in our games. Like I played Sabine, but I don't think I ever saw the A-Wings. But been liking him a lot. The Fighters for Freedom are really good. Been loving Mace. Been loving all the Spectres. Like Ezra's just a blast to play with. Dude,
You went off with Kane in that one game.
Oh, disgusting game with Kane.
Dude, you went off with Kane.
So that was the other card. That there was one that I had in my mind that I knew I wanted to say, and I was forgetting. Wing Leader. Wing Leader has been such a lovely card, and I think it's so much better than the TIE Advanced because TIE Advanced is on 4. If you can turn 1, if you can turn 1 and just play any 2-drop, really, I actually do think the best are the droids. Like if you 3PO or R2, just because they then go up to 6 health. But like Wing Leader, a droid and a Wing Leader gives you a 3/6 for whatever one of them you play. But even other things like Sabine and a Wing Leader, dude, that's crazy. I'm trying to think what is some of the other like A-Wing, right, dude? Like some of that stuff is really, really good. And I think Wing Leader is just fantastic because you're also getting a body on the board. It's a 2/1 only, sure, but you know, if you don't deal with it, I'll constantly just deal 2 damage in space. That's fine.
Dude, it adds up.
Yeah.
And those droids have such staying power after that. I mean, they originally, 4 health is a lot.
Yeah, you just, never dealt with them really because they did 1 damage. You're like, yeah, whatever. Like, they're not both on board yet, so I don't really care whether or not he's cycling with R2 or taking guesses with 3PO just yet. But, yeah. Force Choke has gone up really well for us. I think pretty much all of us, anytime we're playing Red Villain, have included that now. I think that's one of the best removals, especially for an aggro lower to the ground deck, like Tarkin. I think IG loves it, and then I think Boba currently loves it.
Yep.
We'll have to reevaluate, I guess, maybe see with all these new yellow cards coming out, but I think Force Choke still 2 for 5 is pretty hard to beat. I don't really care about the card draw. Yeah, I mean with Boba though, yeah. All the times we played it though, have we ever paid 1 for that? I feel like we've.
Tonight I did. And
you
it felt
did? Okay.
so good.
Yeah.
I knocked Bosk out.
Yeet.
Yeeted him.
Underwhelming cards for me. Wedge. Wedge has just felt really weird to keep it. I mean, 5/5, he does stay on the board, and they probably have to commit something to get rid of him. But every time I play him, I feel like I'm not getting value out of him. And also, you could argue it's probably not fully fleshed out. Like we haven't seen all the space units that you could give ambush to. Ambush is a great keyword. He just hasn't been able to get there. Lando, I didn't have high hopes for him anyways, but I wish he was maybe a little bit better.
Block. I'm surprised you didn't say the Brigard.
He loves the Brigard.
The Brigart, dude.
I love a
The
lot
Brogart.
of cards, dude.
You
Like
do.
Change of Heart, Bragart. Oh my gosh, dude.
Change of heart, the Brigart.
Change of Heart is so good too, dude. Oof.
Um, I've also been trying several times to get Smuggling Compartment into my lists, but so far it's felt kind of weird. There was like in the mono yellow Boba deck, Brian, that we played, there was a turn where I did get it off and it was nice, but then literally the next turn you played Aggression and defeated that and defeated my shield. So
Aggression felt great.
yeah,
At cost.
yeah. And I would say same thing with Cunning. It just came in too late for me to matter.
Yeah, you didn't have a lot of options to use.
Yeah, I had like 6 resources and I had to pay 4 to exhaust your 2 units, and I had nothing on board, so then it couldn't catch up anyways. Or whatever.
Exhausting the 2 units was pretty gnarly though. You'd already good to me dead my Vader, and then you
Exhausted
got my
Wampa and Palp.
Wampa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
And you saved 10 damage with that one card though.
Yeah, but it was delayed in that specific game. It was delayed, right? I'm still saying it's a really good card, but it did. What if you're behind and then I didn't really have anything to play? It was kind of rough. But like especially like even board states where I could just exhaust stuff and go face and make you stay behind.
15 damage on the board that turn, and you saved it all 15.
Yeah.
Yellow's nuts.
Also just general impressions is I think I'm at the point where I probably want to run every 25 health base right now. I think in every deck I'm going to start doing the 25.
Hey, yo.
Blue?
Even the blue one. I don't think I run any blue bases currently in my decks. If I have blue, it's always from Luke, I think. I don't think any of my other decks have them. But
I think as a Vader player, I'm too scared.
But the Jetta, the new one we'll talk about in a little bit, right? That gives -4. That was insane. Both games that we got to play with it. The lab for ambush is crazy. Tarkin Town I think is good, just dealing damage to get something off the board to help clear away. And
Say a nice thing about blue.
The shield. Hey, bro, if I give a shield to like a sentinel or like something that you can't get rid of again and stuff, like you're gonna cry a little bit.
I always cry when I play you.
Cause yeah. Because is it? I'm trying to remember. Is there a restriction on that base?
I don't know.
Give a shield token to a non-leader unit. So no, there's no real restriction to it. But like think about it though, like how awkward sometimes like Luke can be, because there's usually a few actions. Like I play Obi-Wan, turn 6, right? You now have essentially 2 actions of me deploying Luke and then me attacking with Luke to kill Obi-Wan before Obi-Wan gets a shield. But now I could like Obi-Wan into shield, and I know there's like Vigilant Honor Guard, which is probably really good with a shield because they have Sentinel until they take damage. So I think there are some really good aspects of that, to the point where the shield could arguably save you 5 health if it absorbs an attack.
I'm sticking to my guns on this one. That blue one sucks.
So yeah, my stonks on that are up, and my stonks on just monocolor decks are going up. I think all 4 of the cards are pretty good. Blue, I will say blue is probably the least impressive of them, but I mean Cunning and Aggression and Command all seem pretty good.
Mono Red Vader felt good tonight.
Yeah,
I won't lie. Felt pretty good.
But yeah, I mean that's kind of just breaking down what we've been playing. I know I think we have some similar questions going into that a little bit with some of our Discord or any Facebook and Twitter questions. But yeah, I mean those are some of the cards we've been playing with. Yeah, I don't know. Anything else you guys want to shout out about that? Things we've learned, things you felt from the games we've been playing recently?
Trying to think of anything at this point. I think I said too much, actually.
True.
True.
Now, so one thing I did notice though, like I'm not sure I'm liking these legendaries, the like the Aggression, Cunnings, unless it's mono. That's what I'm thinking right now. Like they're great in mono right now, and it's like a lot of these. Maybe I think the only one I might want to pay 6 for is Cunning, maybe. But other than that, like I'm just looking at them like at this point, I'm like for aggression, like I don't know if I really want to pay 6 for that. Like that's basically like in an aggression deck. By when you might not even get 6 resources sometimes in an aggression deck. You know what I mean? If it's not unless it's mono. So I don't know. That's one thing I did notice. Like the legendaries are great in mono. Might not be so good in non.
Yeah, I currently would not pay 2 for anything except Overwhelming Brush.
Yeah, I agree.
Even Cunning? Like, that's the only one I would think I would maybe do. Exhaust 2 resources and then get a +4/+0. Like, I'd do that for 6. Exhaust 2 units. Exhaust 2 units. Exhaust 2 units and get +4 for 6. That's a pretty good turn.
Maybe, I mean, but that's like
I think Cunning is the only one because of the exhaust 2 units. Like, that's the only one I would think about maybe putting in
your turn spent. Like, unless you have,
your turn's spent, but you exhausted 2 units. Possibly at cost 6, it's probably going to be their leader. So you exhausted a leader, plus you exhaust something else, and then you can get a +4. Or you can or think about it this way: you pay 6 to even exhaust 2 units, and then return a 4 or less. So you can literally take 3 of their units off the board, and you can do whatever you want. So that's the only one I was thinking about. Yeah. Like that's the only thing I'm thinking. Like I would pay 6 for Cunning. Everything else, I would not. At this point, I'm not going to pay 6 for.
Cunning is very good. I think it is definitely the best of the aspect.
Yep.
I really do like aggression though.
In a mono red, yeah.
In a mono red, I don't know if I pay.
It's great in mono red.
I don't know if I pay the extra for any of these though.
I wouldn't. Yeah, for the aggression, I would not pay an extra.
Even Cunning, even Cunning, I don't know if I pay two extra for.
You wouldn't want to exhaust 2 and then get rid of 1. That's
Maybe.
3 things off the board for 6.
I mean, also depends whether or not you have anything either. Like the good thing about aggression is that it could be direct removal of anything because it's just deal 4, right? Is the one of the abilities.
Yeah, deal 4.
Whereas like Brian, I played it against him and I exhausted 2 things, but then I literally didn't have a board. I didn't have a board. I had Bosk with 1 health left, so I was like, all right, if I give him +4, he probably has 30 different cards that can kill him.
I did.
I couldn't. Well, I guess I could have sent the Wampa back to your hand, but it didn't really matter because you still had a Palp Invader. So it was like, it's really good, but if you're spending 6 for it, you almost need to be at an even board state for it to be like really good. If you like, you could play like a 2 or 3 cost if you're at 7 resources, and then play that for 4 and like still have a good turn of developing your board state on top of like slowing theirs down. But for 6, it's just like it's kind of tough right now.
You just stall, and then you have nothing to do the rest of your turn unless you have a board. Like, I think aggression kind of helps you advance your board state as well as slow them down, whereas like Cunning, you're not that you're not doing anything, but like you start out the same way the next turn, and you've wasted all those resources for another turn.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I just don't think it.
But like, I mean, all right. Now think about it this way. Now you're playing Boba. You play Cunning. You pay 6. You remove 1. You attack with Boba, and then you get your 2 resources back. So it was basically a 4-cost Cunning you played, and then you get to play a 2-cost unit or whatever you want that round. Because Boba, you're probably gonna try to get the 6 for his fire spray. So you're gonna have 6. You pay the 6. You have Boba. You attack with Boba. Get 2 back, and you can do something else. So I mean, Cunning is a 2-cost in a Boba deck potentially.
You know what, Flock? I believe in you.
Thank you.
I do. I'm gonna get this played against me outside the aspect penalty, and I'm gonna be riggered. Okay, but right now I don't see it. But I believe in you.
I got you.
I believe in you, buddy.
Do you? Flock's win rate's tanking, bro.
My stonks are so low.
Diamond hands. Diamond hands to the moon.
It's all because IG, I tell you.
Brian's been maintaining 500, and that's because he plays Flockton.
Honestly, the amount. Well, so here's the thing. Right?
Today's video is rough.
The amount of questions in the middle of the game where it's like, what does that card do? It's like one of the first cards that have been spoiled in the set, or like you put your leader in the trash. It's funny. It's funny. It's fun to play against Flockton. If you're wondering what it's like, prepare for surgery.
It is certainly an experience to be around Flockton.
Just in general, outside of SWU,
Yes.
you can't make that up.
Yes.
You just can't. It's a once in a lifetime experience that we somehow Groundhog's Day ourselves into.
Are you talking trash on me?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I didn't think so. I didn't think so.
Not for a second. I would never. What do we got next on the docket, Jack?
All right, so if we're wrapped up talking about what we've specifically been playing with, now we can start to theorize about some upcoming cards. We're going to look at all the spoilers. I think we've got like 14, 15 to catch up on. We've got a lot. Yeah. They're pretty much all yellow. So, yeah. I'll kick us off. And the first one we talked a little bit about, we don't really need to expand on this, but it's Hera. She's Heroism and Command green. She's comes out at 6. She ignores the aspect penalty on Spectre cards. When she comes out, she's a 4/6. She's Rebel, Twi'lek, and Spectre. And yeah, on attack, giving an experience token to another unique unit. She's just gonna live and die by how good Spectre cards are, I feel like.
Yep.
So we will just have to wait and see. We got a really good one coming up, and it shows off that there's events. So I think that is really good. Because I feel like for her to thrive a little bit more, she'll need some boosts in the event category. And she might get that. Hopefully it's not just that one. Hopefully there's like a red one and a blue one as well of Spectre cards. That'd be cool. But yeah, we already talked about her, so we can hop on to the next one.
Block on rock, paper, scissors for it.
All right, so next one we have Infiltrator skill. 1 cost, red. Attached unit gains Saboteur. When this unit attacks, ignores shields, defeats defender's shields. It's a +1/+1.
Ignore Sentinel and defeat shields.
Ignore Sentinels, defeat shields, yeah. That's what I said. It's fine. I probably won't play it.
Doesn't make
it's probably going to be a draft card.
I think it could make the last 3 on a sideboard or something like that, but yeah.
Yeah, if you need to make sure you get rid of shields. If you're playing a Luke. Yeah.
Yeah, it just slows things down a lot, though. The tempo just sets it off a little bit.
I mean, Luke already slows it down, so I mean...
Yeah. Devastator. It's a unique 10-drop command villainy space unit. It's a 10/10 Imperial Vehicle capital ship with Sentinel and Overwhelm. When played, you may deal damage to a unit equal to the number of resources you control, which is 10. And it's also a legendary. This is one of those cards I was talking about earlier where it's deceptively good.
Inescapable.
10 resources, though? If you got a game that goes to 10 resources, that's going to be a rough one. You know, dropping this is great, obviously, if you can drop it, but I think it's mid.
I think it's going to depend on what the other green villain leader does, because currently 10, I don't think any of us have ever gotten 10, aside from Flock, who resources every single turn.
I did that once on Tarkin.
I look over, Flock's at like 11 resources on Tarkin. I was like, what's happening?
This is before
I had so many cards in my hand.
Sus. But like even in green, if you're running green with another color and you have resupply and the super laser technician, like 10 is still a far place to get to. So sure, when this drops, it's probably insane. Yeah, it's probably winning you the game because it's on play, essentially defeat a unit, because I don't know what has more than 10 health at this time.
This is it. This is the biggest they've dropped so far.
It can kill another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a Dooku. Who plays it first? Whoever plays it second kills the other one. But yeah, I mean, Sentinel and Overwhelm, you know, literally just shuts down space, and you don't have to worry about it getting like chop blocked by any smaller like Sentinel units. So yeah, I mean, if this comes down, you're probably winning the game, because it's also, if it comes down in space, when it comes down in space, it can deal 10 to anything. It says damage to a unit. So if you're struggling
if this
ground,
comes down, you've likely lost the game already.
as the
you know.
opponent,
No. As the like,
player
if this
of
is
the
your
card.
yeah, if this is your turn, whatever turn, and you've used all 10 of your resources, okay.
Do you see this in like a Krennic deck where like they're just trying to restore to get to 10 resources to play this to win the game?
I don't know what you put.
That's the only thing I can think of.
I really don't know what you.
Because get Krennic out and just restore, and have the other cards that are on in your deck that are restoring, and just survive until you can, turn 9, so you can have your 10th resource out there and just drop it down.
I mean, I think the idea is you try to cheat it out as much as you can with DJ. And,
oh yeah.
resupply.
But worst case scenario, it's like you're doing that,
You're still getting that out on turn 7 maybe.
Yeah,
and at that point, like,
if you play one of each, you get it on turn 7.
Yeah, I mean, doable,
but like, again, one of these pie in the sky kinds of things. Like, if I pull this in a box, I'm not gonna be thrilled with it,
Yeah, because the issue, coming out on turn 7 is going to be very good. The issue just becomes is like turns 1 through 6, you had to play 2 not
That's
great.
6 cards, though. That's 6 cards. You've got resupply when you're sacrificing an entire turn twice.
It's 3 cards.
3 times. What?
You need 3 cards. Just one DJ, one resupply, and then the Devastator.
No. I mean, to get there, though.
To turn 7, yeah. Turn 7, you have 8 resources, 9 with resupply, 10 with DJ.
Oh, I guess I'm like over calculating. I'm thinking about the list in general. You're gonna run 3. DJ's resupplies. But resupply take your whole turn.
I mean, but you're probably running those anyways. Like if you're going for the long, like Tarkin doesn't, because they are going for a faster pace game. But yeah, I mean, there probably could be a Krennic build, but also just like what other restores in Blue Villain?
In Blue Villain?
Because then you have to keep Krennic alive if you still want that too.
Yeah. Nothing, I don't think.
And to me too, it like competes with Relentless. Like Relentless is a cost less.
There's the Star Viper that gives you restore 2.
Yeah, if you have control of the battlefield. If you're probably not having that. If you're playing
if you're playing Krennic, you're probably not. I was going. Found the card going on the list. It gives you restore 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, unless there's a card that lets you like take control of or take the initiative without like claiming it, right? Like how Destiny has some of those cards. That, that could be an option. But
I mean,
it's going to be tough because it's competing with other end game stuff that come out. Like if we agree that Relentless wins you the game, then why wouldn't I just play Relentless at 9 rather than have to get to another resource to play this at 10?
Yeah,
10 seems just like too much right now. Even if you're running a mono deck and you have command in there as well for another resource, because then all your previous turns are going to be rough.
Even Relentless, I feel like it's almost too late,
9's definitely doable with what Green Villain has.
Yeah, I guess there's a world where you can, but I don't know if you should do it.
Yeah, we really haven't had like a big control deck for us.
Go late either.
None of us are really playing control that much. A lot of it's at most ours are like kind of mid-rangey.
Yeah, I also said the green kind of fell off for me anyway. I tried putting this in.
You did add it in just to like have it just in case, but yeah.
And then I looked at it and I was like, I'm never gonna play this.
Yeah.
Resource. I think I only had 2 in there anyway.
Yeah.
And I got it turn 1.
That's a resource.
I was like, okie dokie, resource it up.
Yeah, you can't be gripping that for.
That's a bricked card for at least 7 turns.
Yeah.
So. Anyway.
All right. On to the next one. Ardent Sympathizer. It is a 3-cost unit in the ground arena. It just has the 1 icon of aggression, the red, and it is a 3 health or 3 attack, 3 health. It's a trooper, and it says while you have the initiative, this unit gets +2/+0. Seems fine sad part is a lot of the current decks, it just doesn't get synergy in the red ones. Like Vader, you can't ping with it. Tarkin can't give a token to it. Sabine is probably fine, right? You just don't have Dodonna or Fleet Troopers if you're running them. Like that synergy, you can't wing leader it and stuff like that. So like some smaller things. IG is probably fine. The same thing with Sabine is probably just like it doesn't work with Veers and like there's some smaller details of what your deck does, but it feels like it's and I hate that I can cop out with this, like, but it does feel like a good draft card, but maybe struggling to get in a standard list. But if you're trying to build a low to the ground fast one, I could like a 5/3 is obviously great for 3. But like I'm not super in love with it just because it only has the trooper. There's probably things you can run that are very equal on power and have some better keywords on it.
You can do damage to it to do the best defense, and then and remove 2 die, showing damage.
Bro, you had me for a second. I was like,
Yeah, that's fine. I agree with you. I don't think there's anything else to say about it, truly. From my opinion.
I mean, you got it down. You take the initiative. You play Soggy Toggy. Soggy Toggy gives it a experience token, and then now it's a 6/3, 6/4.
Oh, it's a 4/4. Technically, like health.
Well, if you have the initiative, it's +2, +0, so it's a 5/3. Experience token gives it a 6/4.
Yeah.
That's one thing I think of with Soggy Toggy.
Yep.
Okay.
It's a 3 trooper.
It's a trooper.
Yeah.
Best defense.
I love the artwork on this though. This one's great.
All right, next one. All right, next one. Search your feelings. It's a 4-cost, blue, black. Search your deck for a card and draw it, then shuffle your deck. I personally do not like these kind of cards because, like, you're basically going to be having a deck built around a certain synergy that you want a certain card, and this is going to make sure that you get that certain card. So, not my cup of tea, but I can see it being good when you're trying to build a deck around a card or a certain type of card that you want to make sure you get as soon as possible.
It's just so expensive at 4.
I mean, that's what, turn 3? Was it turn 2? Turn 3?
3.
You turn 3?
Plus, just add +1 on the round, and that's if you resource every round, that's where you're at.
So, I mean, like, turn 3, or if you're really playing like a super one, it could be potentially turn 2, potentially, if everything's right. But
I do like that you don't have to.
There's no way you could get it out turn 2.
No. Oh yeah, super.
Turn 2 is the earliest that you would be able to play those other things.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
I like that you don't have to reveal it, so there's a little bit of a mystery there. But other than that, it's just so expensive. I mean, if it was a 3, maybe. But I don't know if there's a card that like I desperately need in hand and can still play after 4. So if it was cheaper, I'd like it more, but it's too expensive.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of combo type things in this game yet. So
yeah,
it's probably something that just becomes better as the game comes out more. But yeah,
agreed.
Agree that 4 costs a lot, and there's not really much I care to pull right now.
Yeah.
Right. But the Devastator, though.
True. You could do that turn 3 to then have that in the hand for the rest of the game.
Yep.
And then lose before you get to play
Break up that hand and spend 4 resources to end your turn way early and end the game.
Yeah. All right, Bri.
Mining Guild TIE Fighter is a 1-drop space unit, a fringe vehicle fighter. A 1 attack, 2 health. On attack, you may pay 2 if you do draw a card. Again, like, expensive. And it's fragile, but it's a 1-drop. So, like, for now, I think it's okay. But I think this is one of those cards that only gets worse as the set goes on. Truly. Because I don't know if I'm paying 2 every time. That's, like, my whole... But as Flockton has said, the resident boba expert, your hand does get a little lighter, yeah, as the game goes on. So maybe it's good. Who knows? I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I think it only gets worse as more cards come out.
I
As
didn't get
one
a
drop
chance to
goes,
use it. You killed it with Palpatine.
You're welcome.
But
Yeah, it's just squishy. It doesn't really trade in anything. It's a 1/2. It's just like can't really trade, and they know that you're probably gonna want to play it. Means you're probably gonna want to try to pay 2. So you're like, all right, well, I can easily get rid of it because I'm only gonna take 1 damage. And what other space units only have 1 health? So they'll probably attack it with more than 1 health, and you're fine. So
yeah,
Yeah,
I
this is
think there's
being
only
blown
like
up.
3 1-health ones. I think
Yeah.
it's like a TIE Fighter, Distant Patroller, and Wing Leader or something like that.
yeah, so it's and all of those I take the trade.
Yeah, I mean, Wing
But
Leader, you already got what you wanted by playing it. The one that probably maybe feels the worst is like the TIE Fighter.
well, yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. This is like the card though that I'm specifically actually looking to play like the
Yeah.
smuggling compartment on, to try to get some resources back and stuff like that. I agree. Like paying 2, like on the turns you could get Boba and get those 2 resources back, and then like use those last 2 to draw if you don't have anything you necessarily need or want to play with the 2 that you got there. Kind of like it. I mean, it's in my mono yellow Boba deck, but those
Yeah.
options are limited anyways. Does it make the cut in a like the Boba red deck? Not sure. Definitely need to play with it, but it does seem like these common single aspect cards feel like they're just not crazy good in like standard play.
Well, that's
I'd have to
fine.
go back and like look through them all, but yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of common ones that haven't been like too crazy as single aspects. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's fine. I'm not saying that as a complaint about the game, just something I feel as we go
And-
through it. Because the Ardent Sympathizer is common as well.
Yeah, and they're both just fine. They're okay. I don't think they're, they're not impressive. That's all.
I would die
That's what they're common.
for the Ardent Sympathizer.
I
Look at that gun, dude.
love that art though. You're right. It's pretty good art.
Looks like he's
But
fighting on Lothal too.
I can kind of see that like in like a control deck this would be good. Like if Boba goes like a lot more towards control, I can see this actually being pretty good with more cards coming out. Like a mono yellow Boba control kind of thing. I can maybe see it.
I think if you resource differently though, you don't have that card issue that this card remedies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it can be kind of hard, like especially the turns where Boba comes out. If you do it right, you get an extra resource from Boba before he flips, and they get 2 more. So it's like those turns you can completely empty your hand because you're getting 3 extra than you normally would
Yep.
have. So stuff like that can be pretty hard. But I mean, I still think Boba's pretty much like he's the way I run Boba is currently like 30 units and 20 events, and so it's already like pretty control-y. So that's why I'm leaning towards including it right now, and that's kind of how I like to play him. But I think like red is just it's still tough because there's so many good red cards that I want to include.
Yeah, there's so many good, and I don't think this makes the 50s if it's a red yellow. This doesn't make it. But in like a mono yellow, I can definitely see it
Yeah, you almost have
possibly
like,
making
to,
it. Yeah.
to get to 30 units, you almost have to anyway.
Well,
so-
yeah, true. But even if we'll
I
see what
agree.
the other ones are, but even with that, I think it's a pretty good card for him.
Yeah.
So
We will scroll on. Next up, we have a 2-cost ground unit, the Lothal Insurgent. It is a hero yellow, 3 attack, 2 health. It is a rebel. And it says, when played, if you played another card this phase, each opponent draws a card, then discards a random card from their hand. 2-drop, a 3/2. Seems good for aggro. I don't think the when played effect really matters. Maybe there's something else that comes up. Maybe there's like a some other card games have had like a unit that's on the board. If your opponent discards, you can deal 2 damage to, so maybe there's something where there's synergy of discards within your deck that could be relevant. But currently, the random discard means nothing. You could make them draw a good card. You could make them discard their best card. Right? It's all completely random.
Or mill.
Yeah, I don't know if that matters. But I mean, it's a rebel. I think I will update my lay list and add this to it for 2-drop. Stuff like this is helping me replace the droids in some of those aggro decks, which is nice. So I like it for that reason. I don't think it's like a crazy card, but I think it's just good. Turn 2, 3 attack. That's all
Nothing to add. I agree. I
I
agree with you entirely. Oh, Captain, my Captain.
I disagree.
got.
No, I'm kidding. I don't.
I don't know what I disagree
Contrarian.
about, but I disagree.
I disagree.
Loud noises.
Yeah. All right. Roll on the next one.
All right. So, Jeddah. Is it Jeddah? Jeddah?
Jeddah.
Why do I get all these weird ones? Jeddah.
Jeddah, bro.
Looks like
You said
You've
like
seen Rogue One.
you like
Jeddah. Jeddah.
Jeddah.
It's Jeddah.
Yo.
Jeddah City. It's a 25 base.
This is where
25
Sagi Tagi lives.
Yeah, Sagi Tagi lives here. 25 health base. Epic action. Epic action. Give a non-leader unit -4, -0 for this phase. I haven't played with it yet. Jack says he does. He liked it, so I'm gonna go with that. No, but seriously, like this is gonna be like probably an aggro deck. You want to go fast. I mean, giving someone -4 that turn. Basically, if they're at least a -4, you're at least saving yourself 4 out of the 5 that you're already giving away from the beginning. So I think that's fantastic. Yeah, I think it's gonna be good, especially in like decks where like people are giving like experience tokens and stuff. They're higher than normal because you get a 3/1 that's a 4/1 turn 2, and you'd be like, all right, well, I'm not taking that now. You use it to do whatever you gotta do. What you gotta do. You know what I mean? So you can trade without taking damage. I think this could be good. Very, very good.
Especially like how bad does it feel in like some of those aggro decks when you have to trade into stuff that you don't want to, but now this could make you live and stuff. Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. One of the times I used it, like Brian played, he had Veers down, and then he played a cell block or vice versa, like whatever. It was a 4/4, and I had Boba and the ISB agent. Yeah, and so it was like I had 4 damage to do it, but I would have had Boba at 1 health, and my ISB would have died, and that feels so rough. Whereas I'd slap this on it, and then I killed the cell block, and then I still had both my units at full health.
Oh yeah, cell block. Yeah, that one could be annoying.
Yeah. So stuff like that is really, and this almost like is a direct translation of that lost 5 HP, right? When you talk about ambush, when you talk about shields, when you talk about I mean, well, I guess targeting, you could say that's the 3 goes into the damage, but this is almost like exactly you take that 5 health and you put it into this, right? I know it's -4, so you're missing 1, but this almost seems like the direct translation to where if you're nervous about these 25 bases, try this one out. See how you like it. See how you like that epic action.
This is definitely better than the shield because, like, think about it this way: like, at least with when you put a shield on you, you're not in control who attacks you. The enemy is. Where this one, you're in control. Where do you want to put the -4? So obviously you're like, oh, I'd love the shield. It could do up to 5, 6, 7, 8 damage, but like that's them attacking. They're gonna usually attack with the lowest damage unit, so it could be a 1 or 2 to get rid of the shield. So this one's like, I'm gonna save 4 damage somewhere, even if it's not my base. It's a unit, and so I think this is probably one of the best ones I've seen with the 25 health.
This also kind of softens the blow of overwhelming barrage too. Like I'm thinking about that. You don't get the +2, and it's still a -2. You're netting -2, which is still great.
And if it's
you
preemptive,
run this specifically. It's that's smart too.
Like so it's kind of hard to tell, right? Like where it's going to go. But if if you have a unit with 5 attack and a unit with 2 attack, and you have 5 resources floating, you could be like, all right, I'm just going to give you -4 on the big one. If you play overwhelming barrage and you do 4 indirect to me or 3 indirect to me, that's fine. It's just as long as it's not 7.
There are a lot of places where I see this being particularly useful.
Yeah.
This is I did run it tonight. And I nullified an entire Boba round.
Yeah, you slapped it on my leader.
So Boba did no damage, and you just took the initiative.
Yeah.
So
I was debating still attacking with him for 0, but I didn't have any cards to play.
Back?
Yeah.
Wait, what'd you put on? Boba non-leader. I'm guessing.
No, Boba leader. He just went down to 0
it says non-leader. Brian misplayed it.
It says non-leader.
Brother.
I
was gonna say, I'm like, was it non-leader? Yeah, it's just non-leader.
Sorry. I was lost that game anyway.
And you say I can't read, and I called you out on it.
I'm proud of you.
A broken clock is like twice a day.
Clip it.
What if it's daylight savings time? It could be 3 times.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the next card is
Side note
Go ahead.
before you go on,
Go ahead.
whoever they got to do this art was fantastic. This
Jeddah?
person did Jeddah City amazing.
Jet ha. Jet
Ha
ha.
ha 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 ha.
Jet ha 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 ha.
And this is the gateway drug for the 25 health bases. Give them a try. Start off with this one.
Yeah,
telling
this looks. Yeah, if I'm playing yellow, I'm playing this one. I feel like.
Yeah, it's so interesting
Like-
too. Like, I noticed this with
Yep.
Target Town when it came out first. Of like, this is now something I want to run with the same color leaders, but now to do that, right? Like this would be great with Han, but then I'd be mono. You know, it's the same thing with like Boba. Like
Yeah.
you're forced into that. Like this would be really good with Boba, and you still could argue right that it's still good in like or the deck is good in mono. But it's like there's interesting decisions now of like, do I want the better base that I want more, but now I have to be constrained to a mono color or you know whatever. Obviously for different color characters that matters less. Like Sabine, just straight swap. Who cares? I'm not thinking twice about it.
Yep.
But yeah. All right.
No good to me dead. 2-drop event. Yellow villainy. Exhaust a unit. That unit can't ready this round, including during the regroup phase. Oh.
Wind it
baby.
up.
To clarify, they would be exhausted that round. You would ready everything going to the next round. That thing would still be exhausted. So essentially, it nullifies them for 2
Yo.
rounds.
Cards
That's crazy.
busted it too.
That's
At
fucking
2?
crazy.
Busted.
Sorry, I cursed, but that's crazy.
Judge.
Busted it it too. I think.
Uh,
I mean, it's ridiculous. Sorry.
Cat thinks it's busted too.
Cat's like, yes, yes, I agree. I agree.
She is a floor and a half above me. I don't know how you heard that, but
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much to say. Like, right, a leader comes out, Vader comes out, boom, you're exhausted next 2 rounds.
Yeah, that's like you
It's crazy
you
stuff.
want that in your opening hand, and you're like, I'm holding on to this till they pull out their leader or
Like,
whatever,
yeah.
whatever card you're expecting them to drop. You know what I mean? Like this is fantastic. And think about it, like you could have 2 of these in your hand, so it's only 4 resources. So you can say, okay, if you're playing a Luke into an Obi-Wan, you know they're gonna do the Obi-Wan Luke shenanigans. If you have 2 of them in your hand, you can go bang bang. You can't touch them for 2 rounds, like. Or whatever. I know Obi-Wan's not that great because it's Sentinel. It's still, but you know what I'm saying. Like if you know they're gonna play 2 cards, they have this combo.
We
This-
probably exhaust Luke with that, so he can't give a shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. But like, it's crazy. I think this is a great card, and I
agree.
love that I like yellow villain.
And I mean, this is just like really good too. Like the fact that it only costs 2 just opens it up to like literally just every like. I know we mentioned like Luke who comes out on 6. We mentioned Vader who comes out at 7. But like, dude, if I'm playing aggro and I take out Sabine and you hit Sabine with this, like I'm gonna be sad. You know what I mean? So like even a low cost leader like
Yeah.
that, if you take Sabine out for 2 turns, that's gonna be rough.
Yep.
So yeah, cards nuts. Really good. Really really good.
Yeah.
I think there's a case to be made where this is in every yellow
Yes.
deck currently.
Yep.
And, yeah.
Honestly, so question. Think about this. What do you think about like having this in like a hero deck, paying the extra 2? What are your thoughts on that? This is a 4 cost. Exhaust for 2 rounds.
I think I still lean towards no. I mean, you could argue that
No.
it might be worth it because, like, you paying 4 essentially is you using. You could just say I'm using Leia
Yeah.
twice or something.
That's what I'm thinking. Like that's
But I'd rather just run 3 Leia, 3 Asteroid, and just be content with that being my exhaust.
yeah. That's fair.
And like, there's the different benefits of each, right? Like, this gets them twice. Leia gets a unit on the board. Asteroid Sanctuary gets a shield. So like, they all have
Yeah.
value just in a little different ways and stuff.
Yep. Just throwing it out there.
It definitely is one where I do think when you're talking about aspect penalties,
This is like
worth mentioning.
potentially one, yeah.
Yeah.
Like say there's a deck in the future where you need like as many times you can like say there's a deck that's like you need to exhaust this unit literally every single time or you lose. This could be like the card you throw in there in your sideboard. You're like, I need to make sure whenever they play that card, it needs to be exhausted. I need to have like 10 or 12 cards in my deck that are going to exhaust them. And then you might think about putting this one in there.
All right. On the next one, Oh, and I got the other Spectre. Look at that. So this is a 2-cost event. Spark of Rebellion. Apparently wasn't originally intended to be the namesake of the set, but it is. It is a Spectre. It has that tag, and it is a hero yellow event, and it says look at opponent's hand and discard a card from it. Really good. Whatever you're worried about coming up, you can get rid of it.
Rest in peace, my overwhelming barrage.
Yep. Your turn 3 about to end. You can make sure you play this to where when you go into turn 4 to make sure they don't have it, right? They could top deck it and stuff like that. Or if you have the board state for the and you know there's like they're playing this to then play something else after that they really want to, there's stuff like that. And
Yeah, I'm glad
this could even clear out no good to me debt.
Yeah.
Like I'm about to bring out Sabine or whatever. Hey man, get that out here. Get that out.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of glad that hero got their look at the opponent hands. So like the villains, they get the Viper Probe Droid, where they don't get to remove it, but they get to play a unit. It's a 3/2, and they get to look at your hand, and they go, okay, I know what's in your hand. I can kind of guess what your next few plays are for the next 2-3 rounds. Where this one, you play, you don't get the unit. However, you get to look at their hand and like, oh, there's the OB. They're gone. Bye. So you can really destroy the future with that, which I kind of like.
Yep. And you can bring it in any Hera deck, no matter what color you're running. So I'm hoping we get more of that. But yeah, really good card. I'm actually kind of surprised we're seeing that like hand discard already, especially something to this powerful to like, it's not discard one random. It's just literally look at the hand and pick the card that you don't want them to have.
Yep.
All right. La Flock. Look at all those words, brother.
A lot of words.
Holy! Oh, that's my card, Cunning. All right, so we got Cunning. It's a 4-cost, 2 yellows. Okay, so it's a 6 if you don't have 2 yellows. So choose 2 in any order. Return a non-leader unit with 4 or less power to its owner's hand. Give a unit +4/+0 for this phase. Exhaust up to 2 units. And an opponent discards a random card from their hand. And we've talked about this before. I think this is very good. In a mono yellow, I think it's a must-have. You have to have it. Very, very good. And I would even say, as I said before, even in a like yellow, red, or whatever, I would definitely pay the aspect penalty for this card, just because of the exhaust up to 2 units. Plus, you can also return a non-leader unit with 4 or less health to the owner's hand. So I think that's a good turn swing. You pay 6 to literally take away 3 units that could attack you off their board. And I think it could be a really good turn. Like outcome. For even 6.
Yeah, I think this is one of the better aspect legendaries. I think I said it earlier on. This and aggression are pretty much tied for me. Exhausting up to 2 units is the big scary one for me on this one, I think.
Yep, there's no limit on that. Yeah, just exhaust.
Yeah,
Yep.
anything you
Any
want.
unit, leader and whatever. Yeah.
That is any.
Wait, you want me to clarify it for you more?
No, please don't.
Oh, okay.
Also glad we finally got this Han art. I've been really curious where that was going to end up at, and this list looks fantastic. This aggression and vigilance, arguably like the best arts in the set. Command is kind of whatever.
I wouldn't be surprised if all 4 of those end up being playmats.
Command I'll skip on. I need this Cunning one or the aggression one.
Vigilance art's really great too.
Yeah, the Anakin and Obi one.
I mean, probably taking aggression first, but then aggression, cunning, and then vigilance, and then command.
I want a Tarkin playmat.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's the best double aspect one so far. Yeah, really, really good. Really, really good. Bry guy.
Okay. Greedo, a 1-drop ground unit. He is cunning. Surprise, surprise. Everything else from here on out is cunning. A 3/1 Underworld Bounty Hunter. When defeated, you may discard a card from your deck. If it is not a unit, deal 2 damage to a ground unit. Pretty good 1-drop, especially in Boba.
I hate
a lot. Just really squishy. Yeah.
You let me down, dude.
I mean,
I had the
you got
perfect
some
play,
rough stuff.
and then I hit Greedo. Didn't I hit Greedo? I forget.
You hit Boba.
I hit Boba. That's what it was. Yeah.
You hit the
It's like
legendary
Boba.
And go on. Bye bye.
Yeah.
right to the discard. So a double-edged sword, I think, for a 1-drop. But
It just, I mean, like to me, well, right, it depends on the 50, but like in a vacuum, I feel like Greedo in an event-heavy deck is just better than the Stormtrooper. And right, thinking about Boba like this. Yep. But the thing that becomes different is that the Stormtrooper, like if you're running Veers or if you're running the one where you can attack with +2, right? That changes the dynamic of it because then if you take out the Stormtrooper, you're taking out possible targets for both those things. But, I mean, Greedo, you're probably around 15 to 20 events, which is on the higher end of events in your Boba deck. So the possibility of hitting him is nice. Sometimes it can be sad giving them information on what's discarded and, they might know that you've seen 2 of something and it's unlikely you have the third of it. So that's sad. But yeah, 1 cost 3/1. I'm in. I'll be running him.
Yeah. I personally, I probably want to go with him over like the Stormtrooper. That's just me personally. If I were to choose between the 2, I choose Greedo.
Yeah. I mean, Boba's we dropped Veers anyways, right? So I mean, you're at the point
I think
where
I dropped them eventually. Yeah, at this point, I'm getting to the point where I'm dropping Veers. I think. Yeah.
So you're probably safe to slot him in and not bat an eye about Imperial Allegiance stuff.
Yeah, Veers is great when you got all those Imperials, but if you don't, it's like, no, drop them. Yep. So I probably swap that. Yeah, for sure.
Word.
And then pick up a few more events, and we got them coming in. A lot of events coming in. So yeah.
Cool. All right, next one. It's another single aspect common, so don't get your hopes up. But it is a 5-cost unit ground syndicate lackeys. It is just single icon with Cunning yellow, 5 attack, 4 health, underworld keyword, and it has ambush. Ambush makes me likes it. Seemed pretty good, but still 5 cost. You're kind of fighting with some spots. Like I'd rather just play Bosk, who also has ambush.
They legitimately classified this one as draft.
Yes,
yeah, on the stream
they
said draft.
Yeah, it's draft, which I'm totally cool with. When you're getting all these cards, I don't want all the cards to be just for like a standard. Like make a few cards that are good in draft, so that this would be great in draft. Like top winning prize drafts, like you might want to pick this over something else because you want to win the draft. So I'm glad that they're thinking of draft while they're making these cards.
Yeah, I mean, you need to. If your set's designed around draft, you need a bulk of your common cards to be that, or else there's not going to be enough to draft.
Yeah, I just felt like Destiny, there wasn't cards that were made for draft at all.
No,
and
I mean,
I'm glad that they're
except for the draft set.
Except
both
for the
draft sets.
But I'm glad that they're like working on with draft cards in mind, which is good. Because like, especially when like towards the end of not the end, but like middle towards end of like a set. We sometimes do drafts as friends in like a basement in Jack's basement and stuff like that, And I want to win. And I want to win. I want to beat Jack, and I'm getting the syndicate lackeys. So I'm picking up.
Flock's gonna draft tactical advantage and be like, +2/+2, baby.
Let's go.
All right.
Why don't you read that next one, Flock?
Who's got the next one?
All right, ISB agent, ground unit 1. Cunning villainy, a 1/3 Imperial. When played, you may reveal an event from your hand. If you do, deal 1 damage to a unit.
I feel like you're focusing really.
What's up?
I just feel like you're focusing really hard there. I'm proud of you.
Because if I don't focus, my ADHD kicks in and I start saying the wrong word.
Just how long I've known you, I could see it in your face and like hear it in your voice.
Dude. If I really want to read, I could, but I don't hear anything else.
If I want to read, I can really read.
I can really read.
ISB agent. When played,
don't mess us up. Don't mess us up.
You may reveal.
We've talked about this before in our group chat. I know you're not really a big fan of it, Jack. I'm not going to lose hope against it. I know it's only a 1/3. I think originally I didn't realize it was a 1/3. I thought it was a 3/1. But even at a 1/3, I still can see this being pretty good, especially if you want to remove shields. This would be good. You drop it, you remove a shield, and then also you might be able to get an attack with it. Also, if you're playing in a deck that you're trying to get your overwhelm like a Krennic, if you're playing like a Krennic with yellow, this could be something good too. You can even do damage to your own unit. Because it's a unit, it's not the enemy unit. So this could be good in what's his face? The other leader.
Grand Inquisitor.
Grand Inquisitor. This could be good in Grand Inquisitor. It's only 1 damage. So this
Grand
could be good
Inquisitor
in
doesn't
something
really
like that
do
too.
anything with.
You get 2 damage instead of 1, and you did you did
Oh, I
3
thought
damage. No, you have to do 3 to your.
so. It's probably
Or
only really good
2?
in Krennic then.
Yes,
I don't know if
currently.
it's good at all.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Well,
I don't know.
I don't even think that. Because I think a Krennic yellow deck sounds kind of rough in my opinion. I think there's just like the peak of it is I go second, you went first, and you played a TIE Fighter or Stormtrooper or Greedo, and I kill it.
Yeah.
And I
It's an
feel
A
like
unit,
that's the
so it even can be in like the space, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that's even good too.
Like the shield stuff seems fine, but am I including a 1/3 just for shield? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's in my mono deck, but that's just because it's what I have.
But to clarify, so like you do you figure out who goes first before you draw, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, so you figure out who's going to have the initiative first. So then if you don't have the initiative, this would be a good card to have in like your very first hand when you're going for the mulligans, like because if you know they're probably going to drop a stormtrooper, you can then play this and just kill it. So
Yep. But also think about if you go first and that's in your hand.
Yeah. That
but
feels
by the
bad.
way, I said just confirming. I was like 99% sure, but yeah. Step 3 is randomly determined, and then step 4 is shuffle your deck, draw 6.
Yeah.
By the way, for that.
So this could be a good, like, if you know that kind of situation going on. Even so, even if you're not going first, you could maybe you're playing this in like another one where you have a bunch of ones where you drop a TIE Fighter, they drop another 1-drop, then you drop this and show your card and you kill it, and your next turn's literally going to be you can hit them, you can smack them. I know it's only hit for 1 for this card, but I'm not losing hope.
It
I'm not losing hope.
loses value 100% like outside of those situations.
Yes, agreed.
Like Stormtrooper will continuously have value because it could trade up very high.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, I don't know.
I
Yeah,
like Brian. I like that face.
It's a 1-drop. I don't love it.
Cat's going berserk
Makes it weird.
upstairs. I'm just
We don't hear it.
Oh, she's downstairs now. You will.
Ooh.
7th Fleet Defender. I'm just gonna get out of the way before she starts up. 3 space unit. A villainy, cunning. 3/2 Imperial Vehicle Fighter comes in shielded. So sorry about that. I like this. I like any shielded unit. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. The cat.
Pull the cat up. Pull the cat up. Yeah.
Raising the cats. Lift the cats.
Raising the cats.
What was that Sixers thing? Look at that.
She's miserable right now.
She's shielded?
Shielded. She's shielded.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's good. I don't know if I slot this in over. I mean, I'm not running yellow anyway, but ow.
I think this is really good.
Yeah. So you pay 3, you get a 3/2 plus a shield.
Yeah. It's a lot to answer in space. They can't just play a single unit and trade it. You got to get 2 things out of it. Or, I know there's takedown and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Work on it.
Which is really making me really excited for what's that one unit that like removes a token. So I like that remove a token. Yeah, so like that remove a token unit or just in general that term is making me like that type of card. Like this card makes me like those types of cards more.
Yeah, Brian played aggression. He removed my smuggling compartment and shield on this thing.
Yep.
Pretty clutch.
I think it's pretty good.
Also, 99% sure that the 7th Fleet is Thrawn's.
So we're getting Thrawn's, what you're saying?
I think Thrawn is going to be our cunning leader for villain, yeah. I think that art is going to be him. So
he is pretty cunning.
This kind of confirms it for me. This is like the first time we've gotten like Imperial stuff on yellow villain. Like to date, I think everything's been Underworld. Boba, Bosk, Fire Spray. Yeah, I don't know. I think I think those are all like villain ones. But yeah, so that's kind of cool that we're starting to get some Imperial stuff that now you could at least have options if you ever did run Tarkin in here or, stuff like that. So, yeah. All right. That's all the spoilers. I mean, we could jump into our questions. I'm going to start off on Twitter. Then we got some Facebook and Discord questions as well. So the first one is from Domin8. Dominator. Oh, okay. I see how that is. It's got a D and then like a big circle of red and then MIN and then the 8 and then the R that's like a little tiny in a circle. Dominator. Real fancy. But their question was, I'm curious as to what the competitive scene has to offer in terms of prizes to entice you to travel/spend money to attend an event. If all you get is promos, for example, are you then only hitting the real close events or are you still going far? I feel like we are a biased group and probably won't give you the best answer because we are probably going to Worlds and Nova and LVO and stuff like that, even if the prizes are promos. But I agree that it probably should be more and people should be enticed. I think some type of money reward that helps people cover their trips and stuff like that would be really good. And prizes that are resellable as well, not just promos, but things that can hold some good value in it.
I go to whatever Jack goes to.
True.
Period. There is no motivation there. I just do what he does.
Remember the
Just
meme
lost
Alan made? I was
Yoda
Mando, you were
and
Grogu.
Grogu. Yeah. And it's accurate.
Dude, it's gonna be different. Flock's around this time. He's not living 6 hours away.
I was only 4 hours away, to be fair.
A single tear just rolled down Alan's face.
Yo, Alan, dude, Alan and I used to like drive together to all the places. We had a fun time. Carpool. Yo, that dude at like 4 o'clock in the morning is like drinking 2 monsters. Dude's crazy.
That's gonna be you.
Yeah.
So
I pick him up. He's already on a second monster.
Any other thoughts on like the competitive? What kind of
everything.
Yeah, we definitely
Everything. I
did
don't
talk
care
of
what
that
their
pretty
rewards
at length. The last one, 2 ago, whenever they had the big OP stream.
Yeah.
Competitive. Yeah. Next one is for Roll On Gaming. Shout out to them. Check out their podcast if you haven't. Corwin and Kevin do great stuff out there. And they asked, with all the gameplay you've done, what core strategies from Star Wars Destiny have you had to unlearn or tweak to find success in Star Wars Unlimited? Are there any things that you tried to carry over from Destiny to Unlimited that have not worked?
I claim.
That is a relearn a little. Well, more so passing has been a relearn.
Like Brian still says, I claim.
Oh well, that's just where he's talking like strategies probably of the game, not necessarily.
I'm just thinking strategy, and I'm thinking Brian's
Yeah,
like, I'll claim. I'm like, well, it's not a freaking
That
thing.
is definitely a strategy. Choosing to say claim instead of taking the initiative is
He's getting in
100%
Flock's head
to
all
get in
game.
your mind, dude. I'm getting in your
so
mind.
funny.
No,
You said it wrong.
Flock
think that
accidentally said a really good thing though, because the pass mechanic has been a little bit of an adjustment. Because if a lot of times if you wanted to do something and you knew they only had a few actions, sometimes you would pass and pass, they would claim, and then you would go. But now if they claim, it's over.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
I think that I have intentionally not done the things I do in Destiny because I wasn't very good at Destiny, and I feel like I am a much more not skilled, but a much more experienced player at this point because I've played Destiny, I've played Fab, I've played One Piece, and I've seen a lot more success as the years have gone on. I think so. I like to think. I'm gonna hype myself up by saying, and it's true. But no, I think I haven't taken a single thing from Destiny over, and I think it's for the best. So.
I mean, you probably take more than you realize because there's a lot of back and forth, which none of the games that you just said had. So, and having that is a totally different mindset than I do everything, you do everything, I do everything. So you're probably borrowing more than you realize, and that's definitely a good thing because you're thinking about, if I play this, what could they immediately do to stop my game plan, rather than I'm going to play this, do this, boom, it's their turn, whatever. So you're probably taking more than you think.
You're right. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that, but it is definitely a different dynamic as far as that's concerned. I still like to think in the same way that I do in SWU that I do in like One Piece. Fab, I don't. Fab, you had to.
I didn't play
you had
enough
to
to.
adhere to such a. You had to adhere to such an archetype when you played Fab. Like I don't know, there was a lot of the lines of play are there for you. Like you don't have. I don't think you had a lot of freedom in Flesh and Blood. I think your deck building completely defined how you play that game. There's not a ton of extra wiggle room. I thought personally, but
I feel like we probably only scratched this. There's probably people listening that play Flesh and Blood all the time, and they're probably like, you guys
oh,
are
I'm
idiots.
definitely an idiot. Yeah,
That's
no.
super dumb.
Please tell me how dumb I am.
I mean, I get what you're saying to a point. If you played Bolton, there's certain things you're gonna be doing, but
There's only so much you can do, and there's certain things that you need to do per round. Whereas this, I feel like, is a lot more flexible.
yeah, I mean, you could argue though, like if I'm Boba, I have to be doing this to get the extra resource every round if I want to take advantage and win the game. If I'm Vader, I want to make sure I'm pinging. If I'm Luke, I'm always going to be taking lines to shield. So there's probably some similarities.
That's fair.
For me, I think I've tried to like. Sometimes I feel like I care too much about my units because like Destiny, when you played something, it was like huge, right? You played. What was that 3-cost one at the end that summoned the other bounties people? That was like Fickle Mercenary Entourage. Yeah, Entourage. Like you played that like changed the game, right? You played the 501st, right?
Vader's Fist.
Vader's Fist. I was like, it wasn't called the 501st. You played Vader Fist. That changed the game. Whereas now there are some of those cards. They're later in the round, but like in Destiny, you could like delve Fist turn 1, right? And it was like huge. Whereas now I feel like I've tried to be more expendable with the cards and okay trading, and trying to keep a better board state is something that is definitely different if you're only coming from Destiny, because I feel like I learned that playing Legends, Runeterra more, and playing One Piece more. Flesh and Blood didn't have quite that element because that's more of like swinging back and forth. But yeah, having to unlearn and learn how to keep a board state a little bit better. Because Destiny, I mean, you kind of had that because the board state, you were thinking about the dice and what was on each side. Like, you could almost view them as the units each round, but definitely a little different now. I've also had to remove the idea that yellow is scum, and blue is Jedi and lightsabers, and red is command. Because even though there's these words in this now, like, you know, if one yellow villain can be Boba and one yellow villain can be Thrawn potentially, like obviously anything could kind of go into that. And I know that it's like they have themes, right? There's like the event. Blue kind of has like the defeat and takedown. Command has like kind of the troops. Aggression does have kind of like more control-y damage, can kind of punch you in the face type stuff. So there's elements to that, but it's not binary in the sense of like how Destiny was of characters at least. So, but that isn't a core gameplay either. But I just wanted to mention that. But I think that's all the core stuff. The big thing, definitely the passing. Oh, go ahead, Flock.
So one thing I was thinking of is like one thing in Destiny. It's like you can plan your turn based on your hands and the way you're playing your deck to get more resources. So unless you're like really playing Boba, you really or any other really deck really, you can't really gain more resources. So like the resources you have down, what's in your hand, is basically what you can play. So I have to like get used to this is. I only have these many options is kind of all I can do versus in Destiny it was a lot of times where as the round was going you can say, oh, I just rolled 3 resources. I can take these 3 resources. Now I have X amount and I can play this that I wasn't expecting to play. Where now it's like that's not really an option. So I got to remember like what they have on resources that they have, that's the most that they really can play. They really can't get too many more resources to play something big unless you're like Han. That's you know what I mean? Like, so that's one thing I got to learn, or I've been learning to try to, like, understand more and figure out more.
Cool. And then next one and last one on Twitter is from the Loth Wolfpack. Check them out as well if you haven't already. I believe they're starting to dive more into Unlimited. They were in Destiny, though, as well, as where I remember most of their stuff from. What's your favorite dessert? Candy does not count. My mother makes a really good chocolate cake, and it's amazing. And that's what my favorite dessert is.
Oh, Brian probably loves that.
Yeah. Quick fire. Don't think too hard about it.
Cheesecake? Maybe pumpkin pie? Strawberry cheesecake?
my grandmom's red velvet cake because she uses like 6 sticks of butter, so it has a lot of freaking butter.
Wow.
Cool.
All right then. Flock loves butter. Next, we have a question on Facebook from Nick, and it says, "Do you think the special bases will see high play? I don't. Giving up 1/6 of your health for something like a shield doesn't feel like enough benefit. Call me when there's a double color base with 25 health." Definitely seems interesting. I feel like if it's double color, it's got to be more than 5. That seems really, really good to have potentially 3 colors of that, but I'm sure the playtesters have a better idea of that. But I mean, we talked about this earlier. I mean, I think the yellow one's really good. I think the green one's really good. I think Tarkin Town's pretty good. And then, I mean, we're all kind of similar on the blue one, where it's the worst of the 4. We all agree on that. I probably still value it a little bit higher than you guys, but yeah.
I'm warming up to them.
A little bit
I'm not 100% on them yet, but
the
I
yellow is
do
a
think
gateway
that,
drug, dude. I'm telling
I was
you.
gonna say I do think
Dude.
Jet is incredible. Jet is so good. Jet Ha.
Jet Ha is very good.
Yo.
Yoo-hoo-hoo.
But I understand that hesitation. I mean, we all had that. I think all of us, the first time we saw even the 20, even like, it went blue, green, yeah, and then red, and then yellow.
Yeah.
So even when the green one came out with ambush, which I think we all agreed was a really good keyword, I think all of us were a little hesitant still at that time. And I mean, my thing is just play the cards, and then you'll learn now at this point.
I just want the cushion, too, on top of that, because I think that, especially as a Vader player, I think the survivability is huge. I think that wins games, but
You got to play tighter.
Yeah.
Got to play.
Depends on the deck. Like if you want to play for the late game, you might need that 5 health. But if you're not really going for that late game, it's like who cares about the 5 health? You know, if they do that 5 health before you do that, then you're probably already lost in a lot of decks.
Yeah, I mean, it'll basically come down to is if can you get value of the deck that could be worth more value than 5? Because even if it is a late game deck, but you can get your shield or your ambush to prevent more than 5 damage or whatever, that could be worth it. But yeah. All right, on to our podcast questions for the week. We don't have as many. Originally, Inception was supposed to join us, but he didn't. So he left us with a question. How much did Flock's win percent increase in the last week of reveals? Infinite, right? His win rate's like 0 lately, so that's
Oh, the ceiling.
We'll
It's
see.
very high.
We'll see.
It's very high.
I said it earlier in the reveals, is that the more cards that come out, the more chance Flock has to make a bad deck. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see what he does with all these syndicate lackeys in his deck. But it probably should shoot up. Boba's going to look real good. Boba got crazy tools with this.
Oh my god, beefy.
Beefy.
Boba.
Then the other question, Banana, a little bit of a troll with a large amount of cunning cards was seen. How does that affect Luke 3 works with Ataru Strike? Classic Destiny meme that he posted about what felt like on a weekly basis in the Facebook group with the Ataru Strike ruling. All right. Then we've got 3 coming up from Jedi Geek Girl from iRebel Gaming. They've been super in Orkana, but I believe as we get closer to Unlimited, they'll be doing that. So, but if you're interested in either of those games, definitely worth checking out iRebel Gaming. The first one says, since the Cunning stream was yesterday, what is your favorite non-leader Cunning card to date?
No good to be dead.
Flock?
Non-leader Cunning card. Isn't the Change of Heart yellow Cunning? Yeah, I like that card. That was fun.
Yeah, that was annoying. For me, non-leader, man, there's a lot of good ones. I almost want to go with the base. The base or Cunning. Or not Cunning. No, yeah, Cunning.
Cunning's a non-leader.
Jed Ha.
Yeah. I like those a lot. Ezra is really good. Rogue Operative is really good. But I'll go with Cunning. That impressed me so far that I want to keep running mono yellow.
Boba. Or legendary Boba is pretty good too.
Legendary Boba's good. Yeah. There's a lot of good yellow ones.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
what is your current ranking of the 8 faction aspects? So, example, hero cunning, cunning, villain command, hero cunning. I didn't exactly map it out, but I think hero red, at least you argue near the top because you have a deck like Han, and you have a deck like Sabine, and both those decks I think are pretty good. I mean, Command Red is good for villain. Tarkin's really good.
I like Villain Red. Villain Red, Villain Blue. Put it to rank the 8. I don't have the brain power.
I almost wish I
wish I could have thought that one out. Actually, I'll type that one out at some point.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'd probably go. I actually think I'd go like Hero Yellow, Villain Yellow, Hero Red, Villain Green, Hero Blue.
Yeah, because Chewie's really good, right?
I mean, Luke's really good.
It looks really good. I'm saying.
What have I missed so far that I could have? Hero Green. I think Hero Green's towards the bottom. Because like I think the best Leia deck, you run Akbar, and that's it.
Yeah.
Hero Green's definitely at the bottom.
Villain
Blue's coming up, on the up and up.
Yeah.
I think Villain Blue's carried by some really good just neutral events right now, on top of having a really good finisher. But sometimes in between, like Villain Blue of Dooku and the Trooper are really good, but outside of
Everything
that,
else is kind of mid.
it's a
Yeah.
little bit rougher. Yeah. What's Villain Red? What does Villain Red have?
Vader.
Yeah, Vader. That's pretty good.
Vader, Force.
Force Choke,
No, Force Choke is
Stormtrooper.
Force Choke's just villain, right?
No, that's Red.
It also has Vader Saber. It has the Stormtrooper.
Yeah, Stormtrooper.
It
Really good.
has Mahdi.
Marty.
Has Palpatine.
Well, Mahdi's just villain, right?
Open Fire.
Like it's specific.
Mahdi's just villain.
Yeah, like specific breaks into it. It would just be Stormtrooper, Ozzel, Legion Stormtrooper, Interceptor,
Fallen.
Palpatine, Saber, Fallen Lightsaber, Force Choke. That is the villain pack.
Yeah.
I think Villain Red's great.
Yeah, Interceptor's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I don't know what
mean,
you-
like everything generally seems viable. You could probably play any color. It's just some heroes are a little bit rougher. Like Blue Hero is definitely viable as Luke, but not as Chewie. Red Aggression is definitely viable as Vader, but not as IG
Not
or Grand Inquisitor.
Or Grand Inquisitor.
I mean, so like it becomes a little bit harder sometimes. You take a step out of some of these decks, like Boba. Like I would argue, Yellow Villain is very good, but the second you like splash Yellow Villain and it's not a Boba deck, you lose some of the value of that. Like Fett's Fire Spray now doesn't ready. I think the 3-drop Boba is always just gonna be good no matter what. Bosk is still probably pretty decent, but you're probably not running as many events to take full advantage of them. No Good to Me Dead is just going to be good in any deck. The 7th Fleet Defender is going to be good in any deck. The ISB I don't think will be good really in many places. So that takes a hit down once you get outside Boba, I feel like. Like I don't neither of you guys have ever splashed Yellow Villain outside of that. I mean I guess IG, right? But even then that was still just mostly like all red cards and neutral.
Tonight, and it wasn't very good.
Yeah, you did Vader, right?
I was carried by Vader stuff instead of, the yellow. I mean, the yellow was fine. I could, exhaust and do weird stuff, but
The base was probably the best yellow card.
Yeah.
Wait, no. Didn't you?
No Good to Me Dead was impactful, I would say.
Were both those games Vader?
Yeah, Vader yellow, Vader red.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was. I remember the red one.
And then I played Leia red, as well.
Did we play 3 games?
Yes.
Oh, I did Boba twice, and then I did Hera.
And then Hera.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Whatever I had set up there, I think it was. I forget what I already put at the top. I think a Hero Yellow.
I'll write it out.
Hero Yellow is going to be my top, and then some of the ones we talked about kind of fluctuate throughout there. Probably if you made me pick the top and then maybe pick the bottom, I think bottom is going to be Hero Green. Hero Green feels rough right now, man. Like, let me even just look at that. Yo, shout out to SwooDB for these easy searching. Dude, there's 2 leaders and 4 cards. There's Akbar, Bright Hope, Wedge, and Home 1.
Well, Home 1 and Akbar are very good.
I agree. Yeah, but
I mean, the more we get, it can only go up.
they can't even like ramp properly for that 8. It's like the only one that can play 8 is like Han, almost. So
yeah,
it feels pretty weird. It's funny how we're like even on cards in total. Like shout out to Rowdy Octopus as well. He sent me this, and he has a spreadsheet on everything. But like total aggression cards for neutral, hero, and villainy is 28. Command, same thing, is 32. Cunning is 30. Vigilance is 29. And then there are 9 hero cards and 11 villain cards. So everything's pretty spread out, but it is funny how like between them it's pretty rough. Like Command, like I said, there's 6 hero cards including 2 leaders, whereas Villain has 12 with 1 leader. Right? It's just Tarkin. Yeah. So that's 11 cards, 11 deck cards compared to 4. And Hero Aggression, man, doesn't really have anything, but the ones they have are just good, right?
A-Wing,
Sabine, Freedom Fighters.
mm-hmm. Fighters for Freedom, actually.
Sorry. I think that's Mace and Mace. Yeah, they're literally just they're all bangers, so that's why that works.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, yeah. Before I could probably talk about that for hours. And then the last question from Jedi Geek Girl says, "What is something you would like to see from Lorcana in SWU that isn't in it yet? If you cannot think of anything, then go ahead and pick something from a different TCG. I have one in mind, and I've said it every time we play Lorcana. That is my favorite thing, and that is Shift. I think it would be so cool if there was like a big, you play your 2-drop Sabine, but you have a 6-drop also that you could shift, like pay forward to play it on top of. I don't know if that would necessarily work with Unlimited, right? That would need to be I'm not saying it's 100% great added to this game. Need to play test it, but if there's one thing that I would like to try out would be that. That's my.
Is that basically like a evolving of like, so you have like a stormtrooper and then you evolved to like a super stormtrooper or whatever, and it was a little bit stronger.
Yeah,
and you didn't have to pay as much of the difference, whatever.
Yeah, you pay the difference.
It lets you
essentially
cheat out units earlier. So
if it's like a shift 3, you would pay the 3 to evolve that player.
Yeah,
which normally would cost 5 or something to play. Like you could play the big unit straight up, but normally it would cost 5. But you could shift for 3, so you could play it a few turns earlier.
Yeah. Interesting.
Second fiddle would be singing. I think singing's pretty cool.
I think for that game it's fine.
I mean, yeah, it wouldn't be called singing for this or something, but
no, not even. I don't know if I'd want that here. I think it thematically makes sense in.
For anyone who doesn't know, singing is there's certain event cards essentially, or they're their own category of event cards that you can exhaust a unit to play it equal or less than its cost, right?
Yeah, so and there are certain units that are designated singers as well. So, say for example, I think that the Ariel costs 3, higher. But she counts for 5 as far as songs go. So any song that is 5 or less, you can sing with Ariel for free.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it makes sense thematically for a lot of instances. I don't know how they would adapt it to this, and I don't. I agree with shifting for this. I don't know if singing would mesh well, but singing is a cool mechanic for Lorcana. I agree.
Word.
Flock, you have any thoughts?
No, I only played Lorcana like 2-3 times.
Okay.
He doesn't even know how to play Unlimited still, so it'd be hard for him to think of mechanics.
True.
What's if there is a mechanic from this, so there's this game I used to play, and there was dice involved. So
they could bring dice in.
I can bring dice.
Right. I think that pretty much covers everything. Dude, we hit 2 hours. Flock talked for an hour. Like, we're rolling.
Yo,
tonight,
okay, bud.
Get a few pregame beers and Flock's little chatty Cathy over there.
True story, dude.
But yeah, appreciate everybody still sticking in and listening. We got some exciting stuff coming up. We're gonna have a really good podcast. It won't drop next week. We'll be recorded. I think be on the lookout for the 20th
This
and
one
21st.
sucks, but the next one's gonna be great.
Yeah, so if you made it this far, you're probably still gonna listen to the next one. But be on the lookout for the 20th or 21st of November. We're gonna have a good podcast for that. But other than that, you can check out our YouTube for our daily gameplay videos. We got an article coming from Brian talking about Vader. And again, we're never going to be super consistent with them, but we are going to try to put out more writing stuff. So follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. I'm sure all of you are itching, breaking down the door for an article from Tyler Flockton. So
Once he learns how to read, he's gonna be unstoppable.
I was saying because Brian's article is literally just gonna be like overwhelming barrage.
Actually, no.
Dooku, and then it's done.
All right, Dooku.
Not
yes,
Dooku's
but
in there.
Overwhelming barrage, no.
But all right, appreciate everybody tuning in. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, give us a rating. Appreciate all those things, and just appreciate you guys listening in general as well. So we will catch you next time.